The India v England World Cup match had to be moved from Calcutta to Bangalore at very short notice, but the KSCA somehow managed to improvise and pull it off.
And that made us wonder, is there an ethos of improvising in Bangalore's history?
We kept running into examples of this improvisation and innovation every day, big and small.
So we wondered if this improvisation was a result of the old city transitioning to the new.
Or if it was just a result of an influx of people from outside the city.
We decided to ask a few locals.
Yeah, I've never really looked at it that way, and I can't really. I'm not really sure if it has any connection with Bangalore's ability to, I guess, improvise. And we were struggling to improvise, I must admit.
Right now, someone who doesn't live in Bangalore might want to use the word improvise. It's a really nice word. I feel that Bangalore right now is going through a slightly ugly period of transition.
I agree with your assumption that the city itself is innovated and changed. For example, the metro could have been planned better. It's been almost forced upon us.
I doubt if Bangalore has this culture of improvisation. So I think if you see a lot of innovation, if you see a lot of improvisation in the city, it is mostly the younger crowd which has come here. It is these people, I think, who have made the city very different and look very different and feel very different.
It's difficult for someone from outside the city to really gauge how much the city has changed in such a short time.
I think it did definitely benefit me growing up in a very cosmopolitan city, because I met so many different people. I had some friends who gone on to do very different things in life, who came from very different backgrounds and different parts of the country, and also from a cricketing point of view, because of the culture in the city. The kind of cricketers that the city has produced was in itself an inspiration to me. The open spaces, the grounds that were available to us as youngsters today are not available to, say, my son or kids growing up at that age. So that's one of the sad things I'd say about the city and the growth that it's experienced. Pace of life was a lot easier in those days. You could travel much quicker. Today, the same distances take you 45 minutes to an hour. So it puts a lot of pressure, I think, on young children, on kids, to be able to get the right place to practice and to be able to move around as easily as we did. And I believe that the next generation of Indian cricketers is actually going to come from the smaller towns and cities.
Bangalore was always a fairly laid-back city, a reputation that I don't think it enjoys anymore.
From Science City, where you said you belong to the city of C.V. Raman, who got the first Nobel Prize for India, you suddenly become a citizen of a city which is represented by someone called Narayan Murthy, or an IT czar, or Azim Premji. Your icons change.
Cricketers who come from this city, the two, one from that previous era where I talked about, where it was like a lovely, charming place. What we said, the pensioners and educated lot used to come, like Rahul Dravid, Anil Kumble, Javagal Srinath, G.R. Vishwanath, all those guys. The new Bangalore is probably Manish Pandey, Robin Uthappa. These guys are still different. Manish Pandey is not as brash as a Delhi kid.
There's a joy about cricket in this city. That the people who've played this game have treated this as a game. It's not been. There's a relaxed air about it, a laid-backness that sometimes I feel costs us sometimes in Ranji Trophy and things like that. The city, has been known for people who've carried themselves on and off the field with dignity and class.
One very easy kind of theoretical spin that one can put on it is that most of the cricketers produced in the south have been Brahmin vegetarians. So I don't know whether that contributes to their mild-mannered, gentlemanly thing. But then that's the fun side of it. But I think it's basically about their upbringing.
We were busy shooting for this episode when we heard that Ireland was on the verge of something really special, and so we improvised and rushed to catch the end part of the game. And then, as usual, we went to the press conference.
Gokul couldn't resist asking this question.
Question to both of you. At what point did the finish line actually become visible to you?
For me, probably with 12 overs to go. I think we needed 90 maybe off, or 80 off 12, which is about 7 over. And the wicket out there was extremely flat, and the ball was coming onto the bat nicely. It's a pretty small ground with quick outfields.
And our new friend Andy couldn't resist asking this one.
Also a hair question. As a member of the Ginger fraternity, I feel abandoned and betrayed, but clearly it's been some success. Does this herald the future of pink-haired cricket for all teams around the world? Can England learn from the Irish team? Is that what they're missing?
Possibly, yeah.
Later we joined our colleagues Sharda and Bryden and met up with some more Irish players.
It's been a tough sort of, probably 18 months to 2 years for Ireland. The economy's sort of not doing too well. That's one thing we spoke about. Let's try and lift the nation, let's try and win a few games out here. I think probably Test cricket's a good while away. We need to get things set up back in Ireland, infrastructure and first class set up and all that sort of stuff. Thankfully Stuart Broad probably bowled the worst ball he's probably bowled, a full toss about a foot outside off stump. I thought it was a bad move for us taking the power play when we did, because Kevin likes to hit the ball, and if he hits the ball he gets in the zone, he just wants to keep hitting it. We're such a tight unit, there's no clicks, there's no people going off, there's no egos or anything like that, we're all mates. We play for each other, and I honestly couldn't say there's too many teams in the World Cup could do that.
You're always surprised when sides drop chances and some of them not so difficult. People that don't expect us to beat these teams are not involved in our team, because everybody that's involved in our team expects to beat these teams. That's why we play the game. It's big if we bet any team, but it's bigger if we beat England.
Okay, great.
Best days of our lives, as Peter Gillespie would say.
The previous day, when we were walking out with Andy after the press conference, Jeffrey Boycott passed us, and Andy couldn't help calling out to him, "Hey Jeffrey, have you ever scored 150 balls?" There was a beat, and Jeffrey says, "I didn't need to." Then he called out after a beat, "Have you scored 100 against Ghana holding Robertson Croft?" Jeffrey, combative as always.
And then we spoke to Andy.
How's the English fan feeling today? Proud English fan?
Feeling about what?
About the game that just took place?
What game? No.
You missed it?
Yeah, I've been on a canoeing expedition all afternoon. I had no idea there was any game of cricket, least of all between England and Ireland, and certainly not resulting in a humiliating defeat for England.
That's a bit convenient, isn't it?
Oh, well, it didn't happen. It simply did not happen. Okay, it did happen. It did happen. I've heard terrifying reports from back home that been rioting on the streets. The Queen's been seen leaving Buckingham Palace in a helicopter. And Chancellor of the Exchequer George Osborne chased down Whitehall in his underpants by an angry mob. I mean, this really is the end for England as a nation. It's hard to see where we can go from here.
Well, you seem to be resembling India now, and that's not so bad, is it?
What England resembling India?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We've taught you many things in the past, and maybe we're now learning back.
Well, that's not a bad. It's full circle, right?
Yeah, It was for 75% of the game. It was an absolutely mundane, standard Test match team against non-Test match team game, and then utter mayhem broke loose. And of course, I generally want England to win cricket matches, but at the same time, that was a staggering innings. And if I was a bowler now, I think I would go to a cliff and kill myself if this is the future of cricket.
But is this good for cricket, really?
Well, not if it's every game is like this. I mean, an innings like that is exceptional, whatever the wicket, whatever the bowling. But, if every game is 300, plays 300, the novelty will wear off. Maybe we can look at it as a belated apology for some of the things we might have got wrong in Ireland over the years. I think we can now call it quits.